Hi, I'm Mac McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups. And today, why do we get needy in a breakup? So, this happens a lot. A lot of people tell me I was needy, I was clingy, but this comes up a lot, a lot, a lot. And a lot of times we talk about guys getting this beginning of the end because it's highly unattractive to women to deal with needy guys. And a lot of times I think what happens is a guy gets attention when they're needy, and somehow they believe it's working in some ways, but really it's pity. And a lot of times a woman feels bad about breaking up, but it doesn't necessarily mean she's attracted or wants to get back together because you're being needy. But she will take your phone call. She will listen to you because she feels sorry for you. She has a heart and she cares about you. And so in some ways, you think that the idea of her showing that she cares and softening up is working and working in your favor of getting back in the relationship. It really is counterintuitive because it's highly unattractive to most women. Now, are there women out there it may work with? Sure, absolutely. Overall, probably not. Probably not. And do you want to have someone take you back because they feel sorry for you? It's a really good question to ask yourself. Because when you met that individual, when you first started dating them, were you pitiful? Were you someone that was needy? Probably not. Probably not. There's always exceptions to the rule, but have you been needy before? Why? So, over our lifetimes, I'm sure there's been a moment or two that you've been needy. And why was that? A lot of times it's when you're a kid, right? You want the ball at the store, or you want candy, or you want ice cream, and you're asking your mom, or you're crying about it. And that depends on your childhood and how you were raised. And you develop a playbook and tactics that you believe work based on what worked when you were a kid to get what you want. And so when I was a child, that didn't really work. So that never lasted long as far as, begging or asking for a toy at a store. And kids do this, right? I remember when I was a kid, I had a babysitter. And so both my parents worked, and you were babysat with multiple other kids. So 2 or 3 other kids, I think there was. And so we'd go to the grocery store or something with my babysitter. Babysitter was a good lady. And there was one kid that would always cry to the babysitter that he wanted a toy. And the babysitter was like, no, I'm not getting that for you. Right. And to me, I remember this too. I was only about 5 or 6 years old. I'd always think, why do you keep asking? In the back of my head, because my mom and especially my dad, I wouldn't even attempt to be needy in that way or try to play the crying card when I was a kid, because immediately it was just like, no, that doesn't work. Right. And how many parents are there out there? And I'm not judging anyone, because everyone has their own way of doing things and has a soft spot for their kids. But what happens is that develops a playbook or tactic long term for getting what you want. And so sometimes this can transfer over into mature relationships. Yeah, absolutely, Serbia. I agree 100%. Welcome. But this comes up a lot about being needy. I'm just saying, where's the origins, right? Obviously, it's not the ideal place to be as a man. It's obviously not the ideal place to be in a breakup, but maybe to understand it better, because a lot of people are telling me I got needy, right? And where I'm going with that is there's probably a root somewhere in your life that is having that happen. And if you look at people that are in the military, right, they have a very direct path in doing their things. They're very disciplined, and they're usually less likely to be needy. But saying that, I've had a few breakup situations where individuals were with military people that became needy in the breakup. So another question, does it work being needy? Did you know you were doing it? A lot of times people say, now looking back, I was so needy. I was so weak. And they don't realize it till later on. A lot of times I mention, you don't have a video camera running on you, day and night to see your actual actions, right? So after the fact, you kind of realize, oh shit, I was trying to use this as a tactic. Let me just get into some quick hitters, and then I'll touch base with you guys on the live stream. Welcome. So why do we get needy? Number one, overcompensate. Okay. And if you've heard of people getting in a car accident, a lot of times they'll say, oh, there was a cat in the road and I overcompensated, right? Instead of, this sounds bad, instead of going over the cat or maybe just slightly turning, right? Instead, you overcompensate, right? You overcompensate and then you go into a ditch, right? Because your emotions and your fear are so high that you want to change it immediately. And in that action, you overdo it, right? And I'm using an accident as an example because this happens a lot. And you hear people say when they get in an accident, oh shit, I overcompensated. And if you've ever had a close call, myself included in accidents, the times that I've averted it, I remember there was a mattress in the middle of the road. Came out of nowhere, right? Sounds random, but it happens in the States. And immediately I saw it a little bit up ahead. I was able to slightly go around it. Even my tire bumped it. But if I had went like this and overcompensated, I would have went into the wall, right? But in the moment, in the fear, you instantly overcompensate, and you have to be aware of that, right? And when you're in a relationship, you're like, wait a minute, I'm not at center. I'm not neutral. I'm not making good decisions right now. Let me take a couple steps back because I'm overcompensating. I'm trying to switch this relationship that's been going bad for 4 months, 5 months because of XYZ, because she got a new job or because she got a new friend that she's been hanging out and going out with. And now I'm trying to change it in one day. That's overcompensating, and that creates neediness because you don't get the response you want. Number 2, somehow you think pity works because it's attention. This is a really good point, right? Somehow you think pity works because it's attention. Because a lot of times, pity, you'll get attention. If you're with someone, they're going to feel bad for you most of the time if they have some kind of heart and some kind of care for you. And when they break up with you and you've been together for a little while and you guys have, had some good phases and you've had some good times, they don't want you to hurt, right? So you showing hurt, you showing neediness will get you some attention. And so you're like, oh, okay, that got some attention. Okay, that got some attention, but it's not the attention you want. It's definitely not the type of attention that's going to get someone back. I do feel like men are more likely to take women back out of pity than women are to men, but I could be wrong. I would say that that's more common, and that could be something to do with feminine and masculine energy. Number 3, we feel sorry for ourselves, so they should too. Right? At the moment, we feel really fucking sorry for ourselves. We really think, oh, everything, and everyone does this. They layer like, my job sucks, my weight sucks, my this sucks, my that sucks. Well, that shit's all your responsibility. That has nothing to do with your relationship. Well, yeah, but does she know? Nah, she doesn't. He or she is not responsible for your job. They're not responsible for your weight. They're not responsible for some outside family members. They can be there for you. They can support you, which they should. But those kind of places that you're in and you're stacking it with the breakup is not going to make you more attractive. It's not going to bring your ex back. Number 4, I mentioned this earlier. Why do we get needy? Well, it worked when we were younger. So you've ever encountered someone that's a relative, a friend, or maybe even yourself that you're a bit of a spoiled brat. And I've met people like this that over time they're your friends and you're like, damn, you throw a tantrum when you don't get what you want. And it's childish and it has something to do with a playbook they learned when they were young to get attention. Number 5, it's the only thing we can do if we feel weak. So you feel really, really weak and you're being honest, like, I'm weak right now. I need something. I need someone. And friends and family members, that works. It works with some exes, but it doesn't work long-term because people want to be with someone strong. They want to be with someone that could take care of themselves as an adult. Why can't they see things the way we do? Number 6. Sorry, I didn't put the 6 in there. Why? So a lot of times every communication is a miscommunication because someone's seeing the world a certain way and they don't understand why someone doesn't see how bad they're hurting, or they don't understand why someone doesn't feel the way they do, and they keep overcompensating and trying to run into a brick wall instead of going around it or taking 2 steps back and going, what's the best tactic to deal with this? Number 7, we are really hurting and want to show them. So you're being honest and vulnerable with your feelings. But on top of that, you also are throwing a little spice of neediness and you don't even realize it. You just feel like they need to know that I'm hurting right now. I think they care. Number 8, we are used to getting what we want. So this goes back to the spoiled brat syndrome of someone that a lot of things have went well for them in their lives. They've been blessed. They've been privileged. And so when one thing goes wrong, it's the end of the world. And if it's the breakup, they kind of think to themselves, what the fuck? You're really missing out on something I don't understand. And they get quite needy and they don't get it because they usually get what they want. So I'll check the live stream. This live stream is going to be a little shorter today than usual because I got a couple live coaching sessions after this. So the usual suspects, no Kaiser Soze, but we have the usual suspects, right? Serby, welcome, bud. Pasadena's finest. At the same time, women like men that can be self-aware and own up to their end of things. Yes, they do, but that's not being needy, I don't think. I wasn't needy with this breakup, but I have been before. I think it was just panicking at losing the relationship and not having the tools, knowledge of how to handle it. That's a good way to put it, G Money. And I agree that my point is, I don't think you intentionally act needy. I think it happens. And I think until you're aware, you're not usually aware till after the fact. And then if you do your homework, read some good books, watch some of my videos or watch someone else's videos out there, get knowledged up, right? And then in the future, you're like, all right, when I'm feeling this way, right? And that's a good word. Panic would be similar to overcompensating. River King, the legend continues. The river runs through it. I tried breaking up with my ex once, and she broke down crying, ripping up our pictures, and I felt awful for her and kept her. She ended up breaking it with me, and I thought if I became needy, it would have the same effect. I don't think it works for men as well. And like I said, I think that's a feminine, masculine thing. I think that men are more likely to give into that. I've given into that before, where I've come close to breaking up or at that point, and a woman crying in front of me is an extremely sensitive thing to me. And so I will literally be like, all right, well, then let's make it work, even though I'm very clear on why we're breaking up, because I feel bad. And for men, it generally doesn't work the same. Monica, G Money in the house, it definitely didn't work. Yeah, the likelihood is far less. Nice to see you. River King, when women cry, it really affects men. It disarms us. See, me and G Money are always on the same. It does for me too. And I think that that probably has to do with the way I was raised and seeing my mom cry sometimes and stuff like that, because it disarms me for sure. When men cry, women think I think they can find it repulsive. I've heard women say that, actually. They might say, like in this live stream or something, like, oh yeah, they're just being vulnerable and it's really nice for men to show their feelings. But really, I think a majority of women would go, yeah, that's great and fine, but I don't want my man to do that. I don't want my husband to be that way. And I remember my grandfather telling me that, and my grandfather was a pretty stern guy, old Irishman. And he said, I remember him talking about my grandmother saying that seeing men cry, I think a friend had cried or something. She's like, I just don't like that. It just seems really weak. Not just weak, but it's repulsive is a strong word, but I think it might be accurate. G Money, long time no see, Monica. Hope you're well. G Money for sure. Complete broke me down. Never felt that guilt before. There you go. And you probably are thinking that's not fair. It's just reality, and it's a difference in feminine and masculine energy. What's up, iCryptic? You've been on deck a few times. You don't have a lot to say, but you usually pop in and give me a hey. Appreciate it. Neediness shows that you have a hole in yourself that you're trying to fill. If you have a big hole in yourself, that's going to play itself out in your relationships. Good way to put it, G Money. Dylan, my dude, Tassie's finest. Morning, everyone. Where the apples are plentiful, right? Just had my Tasmanian apple juice. We always think of the Tasmanian devil. Tasmania is supposed to have a really good art scene, someone told me too. Random. She dumped me for someone else, so that hurt all the more after that. Well, at least you got LOL on it. Hey, man, when you can start laughing at yourself or laughing at the situation, I've said this before in live coaching sessions, I don't go out of my way to laugh at the situation, but I do smile in live coaching sessions, and I do find a way to find something in there where we can have a chuckle. And that's not forcing humor into it, but when you're hurting and you're that bad, sometimes you got to be like, damn, how did we get here? You know, how did I get to this fucking point? And it really softens you up inside because you're clogged up a little bit, right? And when you chuckle or you laugh, your body's kind of like, it's okay. It's not that bad, man. Mayo's on deck. Quebec's finest. Yep. Tim Allen. Great name. Where's Al? Tim Allen. My dad used to love that. I'm sure. Is your real name Tim Allen, or are you going with Home Improvement Tim Allen? Tim the Toolman Taylor. It's been 2 months of no contact, and my ex hasn't contacted me. I've been happy, but I keep thinking about her. I've been dating other girls and just having fun, but she's still on my mind. Well, here's the thing, Cryptic. Don't fight it. Accept it. Don't lead with force on that, because right now you're dating. You're doing the best you can. And tell yourself, man, I'm doing the best I can right now. I'm having fun, but she's still on your mind. That's natural. That's not something that is unnatural. You're not going to be able to take a shot and get amnesia. You know, keep showing up to these live streams, watching videos. If you need to do a live coaching with myself, I'm here for you. And you've been 2 months of no contact. That's an achievement in itself. And anyone would agree probably on this live stream. So give yourself a fucking pat on the back. And I mean that. Do you believe in reaching out to an ex and telling her you forgive her? Is this Mr. Hooper? The Hooper from Philly? I haven't seen you for a while. Been looking for you in the daylight with a flashlight. Do you believe in reaching out to an ex and telling her you forgive her? In your case, from what I remember, I don't think it's a good idea. But let me ask you this, Christian Martin, aka Hooper, Philly's finest. Let me ask you this. What's your intentions? Right? You knew I was going there if you've been on the live stream before, right? What's your intentions? If you say that you forgive her, first of all, is she looking for forgiveness because she's with someone else? Correct me if I'm wrong. Secondly, right? Deep down, are you thinking, if I forgive her, maybe we can get back together, or this will open the door later on? Because if you don't get the response you want and you tell her you forgive her, you're going to be back down to ground zero, because deep down subconsciously, you're looking for a different answer than just being completely neutral with I forgive you. And like I said, is she looking for forgiveness? No contact means no contact. G Money's clean today. It's clear there's no chance in getting back, so I don't see why not. Okay, so why are you doing it? What's your intention? Everything has an intention. You can't say, oh, I'm just going to do it because I don't care. What's your reason for? Is it the fact that you said some really nasty things at the end? I don't know. Is it normal that I've never been needy in any relationship I've been in? Well, every individual is different. I've said this before. Individuals and their character are like a fingerprint. They're all different, and I believe that. So yeah, it's quite possible that that's just how you are. Right. I don't think everyone's needy. I myself have had rare occasions, but I've had it happen, especially pre-breakup. And I felt like, what the fuck's wrong with me right now? I'm being needy as hell. And it was an overcompensation because the relationship was going bad. She was starting to go out a lot. I just saw the writing on the wall, and I couldn't stop it. Right. And it was foreign to me. It was uncomfortable. And like G Money used, maybe panic was a word. Panic seems extreme, but yeah, you could feel it. So even if you don't normally get needy, you're well capable of getting needy in a breakup situation, especially if your relationship's been really good and all of a sudden you start to overcompensate. Like Max says, if you really want to go ahead and break no contact, but you better be ready to accept whatever consequences may happen. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, same thing. The worst part about mine was I got her back and then she left for someone she was with during the first breakup. Well, she's telling you who she is and where she's at. Women pivot a lot quicker out of a breakup than men, especially if they're younger, especially if they're good looking. That's not personal. That's not because she doesn't care. That's just, I think, human nature. I don't know if anyone else would agree, but they usually have options lined up. Tool time is Tim, the Tool Time Taylor. I think Al made that show, though. That was a good show, man. Tazi is a big art place. There's always an art event going on somewhere. Yeah, I know a few people that are from there that live here. It's really nice people, actually, really outgoing. It's great to share all your knowledge with us, Mac. Hamza, of course. Well, thank you for saying thank you. I appreciate it too, bud. Throw me a like if you like it. Christian Martin, yes. Haha, I need to take a break for everything. Yeah, I mean, here's another thing, Christian. I don't know if you're spiritual. I don't know if you're religious, and I'm not telling you to be. But another thing that you can do with forgiveness is you can write a letter and keep it for yourself. That's another option rather than just call them up. Or you can, pray or say something to yourself and wish her well and say, hey, look, I forgive her, and just say it to yourself in a calm area. I've had people tell me that they've gone to church before. And like I said, I'm not ringing the church bell or religion. Everyone has their own thing, but I find that it's useful for some people. And he said that, he went to church and he said a prayer and he said, I forgive you. And he did it for himself in his own way, in his own moment. And there's something to that, I believe, if you're sincere. Because she might not think you're really if you were in a place when you guys broke up that was a bit needy and you really wanted her back, you going back and saying, hey, I just want to let you know I forgive you. She could just go, oh yeah, thank you. Or she could say, like, in the back of her head, she's thinking, oh, well, this is a ploy to get back with me. And those are the consequences, as G Money said. But if you want to do it, go for it. Worst case scenario, you get back to ground zero, you get your clarity, and then you move back into no contact. What if you didn't beg and accepted the relationship? Alicia, change. Welcome, Alicia. I don't think I've seen you on the live stream before. Bobby Bellman. SoCal's finest. Good man, Bob Bellman. Hey, Mac, thanks to you and your counseling, I've had a great time and a great disposition with everything that I've done. Well, I appreciate it. That's very kind words. Me and Bob have had a live coaching session before. Cool character. You definitely stand out, Bob. What if you didn't beg and accepted the relationship and a month later they message you? And accepted the relationship, you mean accepted the breakup? Well, then if you're in a good position and you feel good about things and they message you, then the ball's in your court to do what you want, right? If you ended on good terms, you have to ask yourself this, Alicia, what do you want? Why did you break up? What are you looking for when they message you? Are you looking to get back together? Are you looking to be friends? See, a lot of times with the live stream, you can't really give me your story. So there's a lot of general questions. So Alicia, if you want to send your story into writemac.com or do a coaching session, we can break it down a little deeper. What's up, Jennifer? I've also learned that if you relax and quit acting heartbroken and needy, the relationship comes quickly. Other relationships. Yeah, I don't know if it's easy just to quit acting heartbroken, but I will say this, like someone like yourself, Bob, that has a strong disposition, has a lot of masculine energy, Mr. Bob, that you probably can give yourself some self-talk. I mean, like I've said before, you need to be your own coach. You need to check yourself when you're in a position. You got to be your own Mick from Rocky. Remember Mick? Come on, Rock, get in there. You got to be that person inside your head. Like, wait a minute, I don't want to be this way. I've never been this way before. I'm going to get myself back on deck. Have a little fucking chat with yourself, man. Hit 6 months, no contact, met her once to catch up for 5 hours and been in no contact since then. For me, met great girl 2 weeks ago. And then I was everywhere dating wise. Well, momentum, the wheels are turning, and there is something to momentum in life. It does actually work. Okay. And so even though, like I said, you go on a couple bad dates, then the next date might be good. You go on a bad date with good intentions to have a good time. And you look at it like, okay, let's just go on a bad date. Right? If you look at my channel, I have like 500 videos. A lot of the videos aren't very good quality, but my intention was to help individuals out. And so if someone said like, oh, like, why don't you have better thumbnails, or why don't you have, a better end card, or why don't you do Facebook? Because I was like, no, I'm just going to focus on doing that. And instead of worrying about like high quality and having 10,000 Facebook friends and things like that, I was like, I'll lead with good intentions and help out individuals. Go out, you start going out on dates. You go, you know what? I'm just going to go out on dates with the intention of having fun. If it's a bad date, that's just fine. I'm going to keep on moving and keep on trucking. We called it quits after 2 weeks, but now we both feel like we are missing out on something, a meeting on Thursday. Thoughts? Well, that sounds like that's a good, like if you had 2 weeks to kind of catch your breath, you guys are both not being pushy with each other. Why not? What do you have to lose? Go into it with low expectations and just to have a good time, right? If you go, that's the main thing is when your expectations are really high and you're trying to change people. It's like I just got a story yesterday and someone's like, oh, I felt like I couldn't be myself around them. What the fuck? I mean, if you're dating someone or you're seeing someone, the number one thing is you should be feeling like you're comfortable around them, right? And so if you guys missed each other and you both agree, hey, we feel like we're missing out on something, revisit it. If it doesn't go right, keep spinning plates, keep meeting other people. My intention is to keep lines of communication open. She was part of my family and I was part of hers. I just miss her and being able to talk to her. Christian, if you want to go that route, okay, I'm here for you regardless. So if that's your intentions, just be prepared. If she's with someone currently, that person that she's with will not be too excited that your ex is calling you up and that you want her to be a part of your family and friends. Now that's for her decision to make, but you can certainly address that. And that doesn't sound like bad intentions on your end. If you can't be with the one you love, honey, love the one you're with. G Money, love that. If you can't be with the one you love, honey, love the one you're with. Even if she wanted to get back together, would I be stupid for doing so? Hey, man, I'm never going to call you stupid. You're dealing with feelings. You're dealing with strong emotions here. Like G Money said, and he knows I've said this before, you just got to know the consequences because it's not the fucking movies. You're not going to just call her up and go, hey, I just want to let you know I forgive you, or send a text message and then everything's rose petals and wine glasses, or she's like, oh, this is what I've been waiting to hear from you. Thank you so much. Let's say everything goes right, Christian, right? And she responds and she said, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I still care about you and ... And then she doesn't say anything else. I hope you're doing well. And you're like, that's it? Because if she's with someone else, she's not going to carry on, right? Most likely. But if you do it, I don't think you're stupid. I think you have strong feelings and you have your reasons for it. So that I wouldn't use that word at all. Like I said, there's consequences on it. I would hold off for a while longer. I would look into, are you dating? Are you doing some other things? But if you do it and you don't get the response you want, you need to pivot out of that immediately, go back into no contact. And instead of getting down on yourself, you need to go, all right, here's my clarity. Now, if you're going into this idea of telling her you forgive her when you don't know if she even wants forgiveness, if you have anxiety over how to do it, or if you should call her or you should not, well, then I would say that you're not centered enough to do it yet. Because if you have anxiety leading up to it, that means that you probably have high expectations. Rob Dog Millionaire. I ran into my ex and her boyfriend today at work, and man, I don't know what she sees in this new dude. I talked to him once. Quite guy, slouches. If she's happy, then I wish them the best since I loved her. Well, good for you. That's how you have to look at it. Anytime you see an ex with someone new, you're always going to dress the guy down. And what I mean by that, you're going to go, oh, this guy's got fucking dirty shoes on. He's got a fucking crooked smile. He doesn't know how to comb his hair, whatever. But you're bitter. Not you, River King, but most of the time and that's human nature, right? Women will do the same thing with a girl that's an ex, right? That's human nature. You want to stay away from that because it's not going to serve you moving forward. You don't need to like the guy, but as much as you can avoid being around them or being in their presence, unfortunately, you work together, so that's going to happen. You don't want to be friends with the guy, but you don't want to put yourself in a situation like, yeah, this guy's just, because really it's a reflection of you too. She was with you, she chose you in the past, and now she's choosing this other person. So the taste that she has now, it's a reflection of you too. So I've always tried to stay away from that. And if I'm with a girlfriend and they talk about their ex in any way, I stay neutral because I never knew the guy and you don't know this guy, River King. So when I seen that today, something snapped, man. Time to move on. Well, that's good. That's a good thing because a lot of times people are looking for the thing that makes them snap and move on. So the fact that that's your clarity moving forward. I mean, when someone's with someone new and it's in your present, it fucking hurts. But also, it's like, what else are you going to do? You're going to sit there and beg and plead in front of someone that's already moved on with someone else? No, that's your fucking clarity. That's you going, all right, you know what? Time to move on. I'm gonna be okay. I know she's with someone else. Yeah, this guy's a fucking slouch. He's this, he's that, whatever. And if you pulled this woman before, you can pull another one of equal or better value. That's man's response. Good for you, bro. All you can do is wish her the best and keep crushing it in your own life. Absolutely, G Money. Just at Starbucks, working away, meeting people, streaming live with you and Mac. Right on, Rob. River. Pain opens you up to yourself. Good point. It's real strange, but it's weakness leaving the body. Thank you, coach. My birthday is on Saturday. Well, happy birthday. I think you said you were 32 before or something like that. Could be wrong. You're going to be 33? Happy birthday. You're going to have a birthday party? You know what's funny is remember years back in the States, like you just go out to dinner with like your girlfriend, or you just go out to dinner with like the last I had a few years where I threw a fucking badass birthday party. Like with like food at like a bar and restaurant. Fucking have yourself a birthday, Mayo. Have yourself a badass birthday party. Fucking plan that shit. Don't just do like, oh, we're just gonna like have some drinks with friends. Have yourself a fucking banging birthday party. And people outside will go, oh, I never do anything for my birthday. It's like, oh, I don't really care. Have yourself a fucking birthday party and invite a lot of people. I wouldn't break no contact no matter what. Been there, done that. Good for you, Jennifer. That's strong. Embrace pain. It's the motivator. That's a way to look at it. But that's just my opinion. Well, this is a place to give your opinion. Hit that like. Thanks, Mail. I appreciate it. I don't know what it does for the algorithms or whatever. It's supposed to help. If it does, sweet. Chrissy Cakes, love the name as always. Matt, how can keep the relationship stale and problems free? Well, stale means boring and monotonous, so make sure you're continuously doing things that are fun. Problems free is probably impossible. Instead of trying to avoid problems, try to find ways to fix them. The problem in life is that we all want no problems, but that's not real reality. And actually, when you start solving problems, it feels fucking good. Good book that the basis of that is The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. That's his basis. He's like, people need to stop avoiding problems and start looking at problems they want to fix. Rob's always good. The Cakes is now here. Eric G is in the house. Chrissy Cakes, you are now regular, so we accept you here all the time. I think when I get to desperation mode, I know for me that's unhealthy relationship. Yeah, and it's a feeling, right? It's a feeling. I'm not telling anyone that, oh, you shouldn't have that. If you have it, it's real. But being aware of why and where it comes from, and that's when you need to take 2 to 3 steps back and go, wait a minute, why am I feeling this way? Turning 35, so I was off one. Invited only the people who uplift me, drinks, maybe some karaoke, and a day at the beach with unlimited hot dogs. That sounds cool. Well, it's not a huge birthday party, but you're doing something good. There's so many people that, oh, I never do anything for my birthday. I'm just not like that. I wouldn't want to do anything like that. Do something for your fucking birthday. Have some people around, dude. I've had a few birthdays where I'm like, wow, we just went out to lunch, me and my girlfriend. It's like really anticlimactic. You're just like, whatever. Fucking plan something, dude. That sounds cool, actually. I've never been a karaoke person. I'm not a good. I could say I'm not a good singer, but I've never really done it except for by myself. What song you gonna sing, Mayo? Just out of curiosity. We've talked about best breakup songs before. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to get off the mic in about 5-10 minutes because I have a live coaching session. But I'll keep this time in mind because I think this is a really good, it seems like this is a good time frame for you guys, which is 8 a.m. for me, starting point. It's about 8:45 a.m. now. You can hear the roosters. What's empandas? I don't know what that is. Did you say that before? Is that a Mexican dish or was that Filipino food? Tacos are my favorite. Although I had a really good pad thai last night. Can be Filipino. Okay, that's what I thought you said before, like lumpia. Puerto Rican. I'd like to go to Puerto Rico. My first girlfriend was Puerto Rican, half Puerto Rican. Venezuelan. South America is when people ask me like, "Oh, do you travel here? Do you travel there?" I'd like to go to South America and do a full-on travel. There's a guy I know, Apple ones at Taco Bell are amazing. Apple tacos? Is that real? This is where the live stream gets off topic. Right at like the 35-minute mark. It's all good. Um okay. Costa Rica looks beautiful, man. Yeah, I know a guy, he's pretty wealthy. And he was in what do you call that? The not the stock exchange, but a banker or whatever in New York. So he made all this money and he said he made like he was like in his late 20s, he's a millionaire, and he just went on a just went to hostels all around South America. And then he said he met way cooler people in the hostels. But then he said if he'd stay at a hostel for like a week or 5 days, and then he goes, I'd go get a 5-star at the Ritz, and I'd take a couple of the people from the hostel with me, and they'd be like, "What the fuck? What's going on here?" Be like, "It's on me. Don't worry about it." I always thought that was kind of cool. Like even though you have that money to still do like a backpacking or a hostel trip, that would be cool. And like I said, he said you meet such cool, outgoing people. That being said, I haven't done the hostel scene before. Best place in Thailand for a month-long vacation. You asking me or are you telling me? But I would say that's one thing in the States that everyone does is they take really short vacations. That's not like that for the rest of the world. Like Europeans take a month, 2 months. Someone will come out to visit me and they're like, I got 5 days. I'm like, damn, dude, it's not really a vacation. That's a breather. I'm probably going to sing some Journey or some Rick Astley as per usual. That's ironic. I was just listening to Journey this morning. Don't Stop Believing. I was on my way back home from the beach on a bike ride, and I had that one on. Bill Withers and Bruce Springsteen, Born in the USA. Sing that one, Mayo. That'll get some people's attention. Neediness can come from losing your sense of individuality during a relationship. You stop being you and you become us, but it never is us. It's always you. And at the end of the day, you're born and die alone. Well, that's deep. You should be a writer, G Money. You have a good way with words, man. The deceased birthday is coming up. Should I reach out and congratulate her? I don't understand your question, EG. NASDAQ, is it a turnoff? A woman shows too much emotion? You know what? It depends on the individual receiving it. I know I've had friends that are in relationships like that, and I don't personally like it. But I mean, which particular emotion? Neediness? I mean, if someone's overly happy, that's kind of welcoming. I don't know. If they're really up and down, they're high and low, well, then that can weigh on you. That can be exhausting. Or if she overly compliments you. If she overly compliments you, I don't know. I like a good compliment myself, but if it's not sincere or it's just like you're like that with everyone else, it doesn't appear special then, does it? G Money, great point. I agree, Monica. Love Journey. Journey's great. They're from the Bay Area, actually, I think. But he says, I'm just a small boy from Detroit, right? That song got really big after the Sopranos last one. Overly compliments via text. No, in person. Mac, have you tried Polke before? No, I'm not aware of what that is. If it's sincere, I don't know. I mean, that's individually based, Chrissy Cake. So I wouldn't if you mean it and you have a compliment, that's great. I think that's nice. And if that's who you really are as a person, then fine. I'm sure someone would find value in that if you're giving sincere compliments regularly. I mean, why are you giving sincere compliments? Is that part of your character naturally, or is that just something that you do when you're in a new relationship? Because that would tell me that you're being a little different. Oh, cool. Just seen Journey twice. Lead guys from the Philippines. Really? I didn't know that. I think he said South Detroit in that song. Yeah. Great song. Why would you I don't like you referring to your ex as deceased. That's not I don't like I'm sorry, bud. I like you, EG. You're always on deck, but uh nah. Just call it your ex. You can use some other term, but that's not nice. It's me naturally. Okay, if that's who you are, then that's who you are. Don't change who you are, hon. If you're complimentary and you believe your compliments are sincere, you know what? Then be you. And if someone's like, "Oh, you compliment me too much," well, fuck, must have a problem with yourself, right? Original left in the '90s. It's a look on his face every time I compliment him. Well, that's you assuming something. Then that's you assuming something. No, I don't think the X is deceased. He's just using that as a term. You can clarify if you want, EG. Um, a look on the face can be misinterpreted, right? But I mean, if you compliment someone too much, it can be uncomfortable, right? Because what do you do with it? I will say this: when I believe a compliment to be true, it's very easy to say thank you, right? If I'm secured and someone says, "Hey, man, your live stream is really good," and I'm like, "Okay, thanks, man," because I believe it is, or you did a really good job coaching. If you believe it to be true, it's not an arrogant thing to just say thank you, right? But if someone you're complimenting them, they're a little bit insecure and they don't believe it to be true, then it makes them uncomfortable. If you see a beautiful woman and you go, "Wow, you're beautiful," you know, a woman with confidence and belief that would say, "Well, thank you." Another woman might go, "Oh my God, but I have big hips and um, I hate my legs," right? Queen is legendary. Great fucking movie. That was probably a top movie of the last year or two. Great movie, great acting in that. Only got a few minutes left because I do have an appointment in 8 minutes. Countdown. Any closing question, folks? This has been good. I'll keep this in mind. I'll keep this in my back pocket. This might be a good time for you guys. 5 minutes left. Yeah, give or take. These streams with you guys is amazing. I haven't cried in days. Well, that's fucking outstanding. We'll take that as a compliment, team. Closing questions, as I like to say, and then I'll stay on for 25 more minutes usually. But in this case, not today. Not today. Thanks for the likes, folks. Thanks for contributing. G Money, as always, it's a pleasure. Chrissy Cakes. Someone was just, who's not on today is Brand New Skinner. And he was asking about guilty pleasures. And I was like, well, maybe basketball gossip. I don't like it, but I still go after it. And now there's this layer of gossip, right? It's not just about basketball. It's about, what they're doing and stuff. And sometimes I'm like, why am I even checking in on this stuff? It's turned into it's crazy. Potential trades that never happen. Clinginess to me is a turnoff. My ex never gave me space, had to go everywhere with me. That's my one thing. That would be a turnoff for me, River King. I'm an independent person and I've always been that way. I like friends. I'm an extrovert. I'm outgoing, but someone that, like you have to do everything together. That would be done before it even started, my friend. Jay-Z, because I've done you have my email. Tell me what you like, right? So I've said this before. Chiang Mai, Bangkok, and Phuket would be the top 3 places I think that are most popular. Maybe Koh Samui. If you like islands, if you like beaches, Phuket. If you like big cities, Bangkok. If you like more of a laid back and it's cheaper, there's a lot of history there. Maybe Chiang Mai. I would say that A lot of times people go to like 7 different places. I would think that would be exhausting. I'd go to 1 or 2. But if you wanted to go to Bangkok for a week and then go to Phuket for a week, it's only an hour flight, hour and a half. So it won't be difficult to go to both. You know, Bangkok's like 10 million people. It's a metropolis. It's a totally different scene. I really like what you said on the stream last night about the mom putting her kids first. Well, thanks, Jennifer. All right, folks, I'm going to close it out. Curtains. It's been a pleasure. See you, G Money.